The two most common generators of consumer debt in a modern economy are credit cards and installment loans. In 2012, according to the Federal Reserve, the United States was roughly in $2.5 trillion of consumer debt. Credit card debt accounted for almost one-third of it, $800 billion. The rest consisted of installment loan debt, being in mortgages and car loans. Let's take a closer look at credit cards. Generally speaking, credit cards charge exceptionally high interest rates, but you only have to pay interest if you don't pay your monthly balance in full. Thus, a credit card is a two-edged sword. If you pay your balance in full, you pay no interest. You get a free short-term loan from the credit card company. When used wisely, a credit card gives you a rare opportunity to use someone else's money for free. But if you make minimum payments or carry a balance from one month to the next, you will be paying a lot of interest. When used unwisely and carelessly, a credit card is a financial trap. Now, looking at credit cards, a typical credit card statement covers a monthly billing cycle that always starts on the same day of the month. Depending on the month, the number of days in a billing cycle is either 30 or 31, except for February, when it is 28, or 29 for a leap year. Now we are going to be looking at a credit card problem, which states, suppose you have a MasterCard with an APR of 17.24% on standard purchases. The billing cycle starts on the 25th of each month and ends on the 24th of the next month. For the April 25th through May 24th billing cycle, you were unable to pay the full balance on your card and had to carry over a $500 balance to your next cycle. When your May 25th through June 24th credit card bill arrives, these are the charges. On May 25th, the first day of the billing cycle, you had a previous balance of $500. On May 28th, you made a phone bill payment of $85.75 on your credit card. On June 5th, there was a gasoline purchase of $45. On June 16th, there was a purchase of groceries for $73.60. And on June 20th, there was a payment of $200. Since you didn't pay your previous balance in full, there will be a finance charge in your bill. How finance charges are calculated? They are calculated by taking the periodic interest rate and multiplying that by the average daily balance. What we need to do is we need to find the balance on your bill at the end of the May 25th through June 24th billing cycle. So first, we know that we are going to be charged a finance charge. So let's talk about this. Periodic interest rate, that's something that we're going to have to talk about, and also this average daily balance. Let's just figure out what the periodic interest rate is first. The periodic interest rate is the number of days in a billing cycle. Now, when we go from May 25th to June 24th, that is going to be 31 days in the billing cycle because May has 31 days in it. So, so the number of days in the billing cycle is going to be 31 divided by 365. So this is how you find the periodic interest rate. You take the number of days in the billing cycle, you divide it by 365, and then you multiply it by the APR in the form of a decimal. So that's what we're going to do. Number of billing days in a billing cycle is 31 divided by 365 multiplied by the APR, which is 17.24, in the form of a decimal is going to be 0.1724. And that is going to give us our periodic interest rate. I'm just going to say PIR. Now we can take our calculator and we're just going to do this all in one scoop. So first we're going to go 31 divided by 365. So 31 divided by 365. I'm going to hit enter. And then we're going to take that answer and multiply it by the APR in the form of a decimal. So it will show, when you hit the multiplication, it will be answer times 0.1724. Enter. And that gives us a big old long decimal. We need to write that out. So the periodic interest rate is 0.014642192. 0.014642192. Yep. Okay. So that's the first part of the finance charge. That is done. The periodic interest rate. So we need to know two pieces of information. Periodic interest rate and the average daily balance. Okay. Let's talk about the average daily balance. How you determine the average daily balance is you add the daily balance for each day in the billing cycle. So there's 31 days. That means you're going to add each daily balance of those 31 days up. So it's, and then you're going to divide it by the number of days in the billing cycle, which would be 31. So I have this little table, and this table is going to help us kind of break down the average daily balance. We're going to be kind of more focusing on adding the daily balance for each day in the billing cycle. So the first period of time that we're going to look at is the first day. The first day is May 25th. So I'm going to write 5/25, May 25th. And this first period is going to go until the 27th. And the reason why is because our daily balance is $500. It's $500 on the 25th, it's $500 on the 26th, it's $500 on the 27th, and then on the 28th, it's increased by $85.75. So this first period is just talking about the daily balance when it's exactly the same. So from May 25th through May 27th, the daily balance was exactly the same. It was $500 every single day. So, and 5/25 through 5/27 is 3 days, 25th, 26th, 27th. So 3 days in that period. And the daily balance for each one of those days was $500. Okay, and then our daily balance changed. Now, on what day did it change? Well, it changed on May 28th when we made a phone bill payment using our credit card. So it was May 28th through, so after we made that phone bill payment, our balance was, $500 plus 85.75 for how many days? Well, it was until this next purchase of June 5th. So June 4th would be the day before this is the period of time where our daily balance was exactly the same. So it was exactly the same from May 28th to June 4th. And there are 8 days in that period. Now, let's talk about the daily balance for each one of those 8 days. Well, we were at $500, and then what happened? We made a phone bill, so we added $85.75. So our daily balance for each one of those 8 days ends up being $585.75. Okay. Now, when did our daily balance change from $585.75? Well, on June 5th it changed. And from June 5th to the day before June 16th, which would have been June 15th, which ends up being 11 days, our daily balance was our old $585.75 plus What happened on the 5th? We had a gasoline purchase of $45, which ends up being $630.75. So for 11 days, there was a daily balance of $630.75 for each one of those 11 days. And then the daily balance changed. Well, what day did it change? It changed on the 16th. So on June 16th, there was another payment for groceries. And so our bill was from the 16th all the way up to the day before the 20th when we made our payment, which would be June 19th. Which ends up being, there's 4 days, the 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th. So there's 4 days in that period. So, well, how much was our balance on each one of those days? Well, it was $630.75 plus our grocery purchase, which was $73.60, which ends up being, when we add those two together, we get $704.35. Okay, so for those 4 days, every single one of those days, the daily balance was $704.35. Okay, but then it changed. It changed on the 20th. So on 6/20, we made a payment. We paid down our credit card by $200. So on the 20th, we made a payment, and then there was no activity until the last day in the billing cycle, which was June 24th. June 24th. 6/24, and there's how many days in this? There's that would be 5 days in that period. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 5 days. Okay, so then we had $704.35. There was a payment, so we're going to subtract $200, and the daily balance for each one of those 5 days throughout that period was $504.35. Okay, now that we know the daily balance for each one of the days, the 31 days in the billing cycle, what we can do is calculate the average daily balance. So the average daily balance equals, we're going to add up the daily balance for each day in this billing cycle. So what that means, the first day, the 25th, it was $500. The 26th, it was $500. The 27th, it was $500. So for 3 days, it was $500. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go 500 times 3, or 3 times 500. So we have 3 times 500. And we're going to add that to, there was 8 days where the daily balance was $585.75. So we're going to go 8 times $585.75. 8 times 585.75. And then we're going to add that to the 11 days that the daily balance was $630.75. So it's going to be 11 times 630.75. We're going to add that to the 4 days that the balance was $704.35. And then we're going to squeeze it in. We're going to add for 5 days, it was 504.35. Oh man. 504.35. 5 times 504.35. Kind of ran out of room. And so that's the adding the daily balance for each day in the billing cycle. Now the average daily balance says we take all of that, which is on the top part of the fraction, and then we divide it by the number of days in the billing cycle, which there are 31 days in the billing cycle. So we're going to divide this by 31. Okay? Now we're just going to do each one of these calculations in the parentheses. So the average daily balance equals 3 times 500 is 1,500 plus 8 times. That ends up being 4,686 plus 11 times $630.75 ends up being 6,938.25. And then we're going to add that to 4 times $704.35, which ends up being $2,817.40. And we're going to add that to our last one, which is 5 times $504.35, which ends up being $2,521.75. And we have to divide that all by 31. Now, all of this adds up to $18,463.40. And we're going to divide that by 31. When we add all those together, that's what we end up with. And so now we can figure out what the average daily balance is. The average daily balance is actually $595.59. So now we can figure out what the finance charge is. The finance charge is the periodic interest rate, which is right here, multiplied by the average daily balance, which is right there. So I'm just going to say the finance charge, or the FC, is, okay, I'm going to write out this decimal, 0.0146 multiplied by the average daily balance, which is $595.59. And what we end up with is, when we multiply those out, we end up with $8.72. That is what our finance charge is. Okay? So if we want to determine what the balance on our bill is at the end of the May 25th through June 24th billing cycle, then what we need to do is take the balance of the last day. After our $200 payment on the 24th, our ending balance was $504.35. And so we have to take that balance on 6/24, which is 504.35. Whoops, that's a decimal point. And we need to add the finance charge to it. And what we end up with is our balance on 6/24 equals $513.07. Okay, so from credit cards, there are 2 important lessons that we can learn. Number 1 is to make sure you understand the terms of your credit card agreement. You need to know the APR, which can range widely from less than 10% to 24% or even more. Try not to use your credit cards for cash advances. Try to understand as much of the fine print as you can. Make a real effort to pay your credit card balance in full each month. This practice will help you avoid finance charges and keep you from getting yourself into a financial hole. And finally, if you can't make your credit card payments in full each month, one thing you might want to think about is that it's possible that you are living beyond your means, and you may consider putting your credit card away until your balance is paid off.